Okay, Mandalorian. Sorry, what?
I'm worried now. I'm gonna get banned. Yeah, Mandalorian. Okay, so season three, obviously. So we're not gonna go over season one and two. We're just gonna talk about season three. Hoping you guys watched season one and two. Whoever's watching. And I'm not as savvy in Star Wars as well as probably you guys. You guys probably know
No.
more than I do.
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
You know stuff.
You know stuff.
Fair amount.
Peoples and stuff.
You know people.
There's people.
No
There's
memorabilia.
that guy. He has asthma. He's all dressed in black. I think he's a goth asthmatic.
Yeah. So
Does he scream about Vader time?
It's time! Luke, you're gone! It's time!
So Mandalorian. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over episodes 1 to 3. We would go through the fourth one that came out today, but the Cookie Monster over here failed us. So
Cookie Monster.
I didn't know
Yeah,
either.
that's you.
You can't like. I'm expecting Wednesday night. So
oh, you didn't see it either?
no, I told you I didn't see it.
Oh,
Dude,
shit,
if you told me
okay.
it came out at 10 o'clock in this morning, one, I wasn't aware of the schedule, and two, like I'm working, and
Oh, I
Sure,
didn't watch it this morning. I watched it when I came home. I don't know.
Do you actually have a time for release, or does it just happen since it's on a streaming service?
I think it just happens. Like it's. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it comes out at midnight, but I think it just pops out. But I'm probably wrong about that, but we'll see. Mandalorian season episodes 1 to 3. You guys are gonna have to humor me here and forgive me if I say dumb shit about the show because I don't know a lot about the Star Wars lore and whatnot. Like at one point there was an episode, and I think it was in episode 2 where Grogu is like he's going through time and space with Mando in his ship, and he's seeing these like things floating in the
Space
blue
whales.
thing. What is that? Midichlorians? But anyways, we'll find out. So,
Midichlorians.
so far, episode 1 to
Oh,
3,
my God.
and episode 4 is out, and I want you guys to give me a quick rundown of what you thought of the episode so far. We're halfway through the season, and let's kick it off with PT of 86. Go.
Me? Oh, okay. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting me to go first, but what are we just starting like each episode from like? Are we start doing all episode 1, then to episode 2 and 3, or are we just
I would say
gonna rush?
I don't think you need. I don't. Correct. However you guys want to do it. However you want to do it. Do it. If you want to do episode by episode, go ahead.
Just speak your truth.
Yeah, speak your truth, man.
Speaking my truth. I don't know. I don't even really know where to start on this one. The first episode, I thought it wasn't so bad. It started out good. Frick, what the hell happened in the first episode? I barely even remember. Shit. No, yeah. I thought it was started off as what?
What?
I thought it started off fun. With like you seeing the rite of passage for the Mandalorians and how they initiate their newest members into their tribe or into their clan, I guess. So that was kind of neat.
He sounds like a 6-year-old who bought the cliff notes for his like for his essay. Yeah. Would you like?
They're training kids
Okay,
on the beach.
I'll tell you what. Daddy,
watching
do
Karate
you want
Kid.
someone else to go so I can jog your memory, and then we'll get back to you?
Oh fuck!
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
not for a
Okay.
Because
second.
I remember the last 2 episodes more clearly than the first one.
You could just give it like a gist of really, because the pacing in it is fucking phenomenal in my opinion. Like
yeah,
it's
no,
nice and slow. It's like you're watching like a day go by, right? Instead of like normal episodes, it'd be like, oh, all of a sudden it's nighttime. The fuck happened? Wasn't it just morning? Didn't you just wake up? But like the pacing in this one is just, I don't know. They have like a quest, and then they go ahead and complete said quest. It's like watching World of Warcraft, but it's for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now it's all kind of starting to come back to me. Yeah, this whole episode was basically him trying to get himself back into his clan because he took off his helmet.
So true.
Okay.
It's their whole. I don't know the full extent of their creed, But apparently, like once they put on their helmet, they're not allowed to take it off. They can't reveal themselves to anyone, and it's all part of their creed. Again, I don't know the full detail of their lore, but that seems to be their shtick. And if you mess with that lore, they're like, oh, you're now no longer part of the clan, and you got to do something to rectify that. So it was neat to see. I wish now I had watched Book of Boba Fett because clearly that all seems to have come to head then. Because like between season 2 and season 3, there wasn't really like, from what I can tell, there wasn't really much. But I guess Book of Boba Fett really set the pace for where all this stuff, where this current story is headed. So unless you missed Book of Boba Fett, you're not really gonna know that happened. But yeah, that I've always kind of liked the pacing of the series. I didn't so much. Well, I don't want to jump ahead to the third episode, but I didn't so much like the third episode too much. I thought it was kind of a really filler one, but it was still good nonetheless. But yeah, as far as the first
The
episode
curse
goes,
of episode 3. But anyways,
it's apparently the only series that seems to have done a good episode 3 almost every like consistently was Daredevil.
And Star Trek.
And Star
I
Trek.
stopped. I haven't watched Star Trek since
Every
Yeah,
Star
me
Trek
too.
episode
Voyager,
is
actually.
a banger.
What?
And Star Trek.
I said every Star Trek episode is a banger.
They're all bangers. Fuck Star Wars. Star Trek.
That's it. We're not talking about Star Wars anymore. We're going to talk about Picard.
Oh, we're talking about Seven
That
of Nine.
suave son of a bitch. Good old Pax.
That's cool. I mean, well, what did you think of
Yeah,
all that together? You didn't think episode 3 was any good?
I didn't mind it. I liked it. I liked what was going on with the Doctor and everything that was going on there. I found that I didn't really need to know what happened to the guy. It's like, oh, cool. He was there at the end of episode 2. He was trying to do whatever with Grogu or Baby Yoda, as everyone knows him from beforehand. And then like that was where I kind of figured his whole story had ended. And then I feel like they just kind
We're
of
wrong.
threw in together that it's just they threw in that other girl. It's like, oh, what do you want me to do? It's like, oh, cool. She's gonna have some really grave importance. Oh, it's just to kill off a doctor that had 2, maybe 3 scenes in this entire in 2 seasons, and that was it. That was my only like gripe about it. Other than
We
that,
don't
what
know- we don't
happened
know
to him
what
and
I think there was
how
more
she
than
set him
that,
up was
though.
nice.
Yeah, I think there was more to that. It wasn't just the kill. Okay, I don't think you actually watched this. We'll skip to someone else.
What do you mean? I did watch episode 3.
No, since the
Okay,
beginning,
guys, I read on Wikipedia.
Yeah, he's like, I can't.
since the beginning, Daniel's like, "Oh my god, don't go with me first." It's like a kid, exactly like you nailed it with me. He's still in school saying, "Oh shit, I really didn't. Oh, I thought I had more time."
Glad you could you do you want you could do so you do you want him to do you so much.
You're not losing any
Still
points,
writing
Daniel.
the
Yeah,
report in the middle of class.
You're not gonna get a failing mark. This is
Yeah.
where this guy's hanging out. It's just
you go.
one night.
Just get-
We're
yeah,
hanging out.
it's-
You're
it's-
like,
instead,
"Oh."
of, instead of giving me his opinion, just give me a play-by-play what happened to prove that you watched it. It's like, yeah,
No,
that's not what I'm asking
what,
for.
what exactly did I miss? Because like I saw the episode, I saw it last night, and it's just outside of like whatever it is that she could be doing. Like I'm curious to see what it is that she could be doing. So far, I'm not like killing the doctor off. Okay, cool. That was a bit whatever.
He's
Wow.
not dead.
But
He's not dead, and she's a
Okay, he's not- he's-
and she knows what technology is needed to continue his work.
yeah,
You're missing
Yeah,
your ice
that's
cream,
it.
aren't you? You didn't have that ice cream, did you? Your ice cream of knowledge.
Okay,
I'm all
alright,
slow now. I need
alright,
my
alright.
sugar high.
I need my ice cream to remember my stories.
So, but so far of okay, between episode 1, what you've seen so far, episode 1 to 3, everything's good for you. You like, well, so you said you enjoyed the pacing, and
Yeah, I enjoyed
know
the
we're free to
pacing.
talk
I
about,
like-
like production value or whatever you want, and
No, I like the pacing of it. There seems to be a lot of lore building, especially more so around the Mandalorians rather than beforehand, where we're just let's take Grogu to his family or trying to find somewhere to bring him so he can get taken care of. Now there's a lot more Mando lore, you could say,
Mando.
especially now with Bo-Katan because she seems to be a big focal point of this whole season so far. But yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Josh, to Josh.
Josh,
Okay.
Hey, no, actually, I would rather you go first.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, you're like Mr. Star Wars. Okay, you're not Mr. Star Wars. My bad.
Okay. I only have. Oh yeah. Okay. No, I mean the franchise in general. I think Disney's doing. You know what?
What?
I think. Excuse me. I think Disney's
Nice.
doing a really good job with Mandalorian. Personally, I wasn't a big fan. It was really annoying that the episodes were short, but because Disney has to, because it's for kids and whatever, and they have to go that route as well. I think Mandalorian did a really good job from the beginning with Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever you want to call him, to capture that audience and keep them going, keep them interested. Obviously, sell the toys, and it works. Season 3 right now, I was expecting to be like, okay, how much more are they going to milk this? And it's not a milk at all. We're actually seeing what Star Wars is about. Well, for me, anyways, is Star Wars. There's a beautiful scene with him against, they're trying to get captured, but they're in space, and you've got these new factions. I mean, maybe he's in a canon book somewhere. I don't know. I don't know the whole lore of Star Wars, but I like how Mandalorian's really sucking every little thing they can to bring in, whether it's new or from another book or whatever. And you see that he's up against somebody really, somebody really tough because he manages to squirm him, and he's fighting TIE fighters, which is just impeccable. And he's got his new hot rod Naboo Starfighter, and they did a good job of making it look like a supercar, silver, and he's there when he's blowing up all the things. And I'm like, I'm loving it. I'm like, this is great, and I'm like, I hope it's the whole episode, but it doesn't have to be the whole episode. And and he's talking, and he's kind of babying you along because obviously, who's he talking to? He's talking to Grogu. He's like, we've got to walk into this cave. Yeah, clearly you got to walk into this cave. Like obviously great, but other than that, you've got the action, you've got the story. Bo-Katan, apologies if you can hear my dog. Somebody's here. Bo-Katan is cool because we get to see her. We saw her in Rebels, and we needed a female dominant character, and it'll be her, which is great, which makes sense because she used to be Mandalorian, but she left the ways. She has her helmet off and whatnot, so we get to see everybody's version of it. And the last episode, I think they crammed so much in there, which was so awesome with him finding Mandalore, so we get to finally see this whole, and all the fans of Boba Fett and whatever get to see their home planet. They're what they made it, what Disney's projection of it is. They got to see their home planet. He gets to kill the myth of it being super toxic and whatever, blah 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 blah. We get to see new aliens that live underground, and Bo-Katan sees that monster underneath that we don't know. She says, "Oh, did you see anything?" And I'm like, "Why would you hide that? Why would you?" That monster was massive. That monster was massive underwater.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, why are you hiding this?" And she gets blessed in the waters. She goes back. Obviously, the big guy Mandalorian, he's not crazy about, we see him with just, the straight shots. He's not crazy about Din Djarin. So that's gonna develop, and then she gets blessed as well. So she's back into the whole thing, 100%. So it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought she was gonna be like, guys, me, I'm out. But they went and they destroyed her castle or wherever her palace and this and that. So is she gonna come back? Is she gonna try to take the dark saber? She's gonna reclaim her family's right as being the queen of Mandalore. We've got a really good series on our hands. Like I really think this third episode. I mean, you might have thought it was filler, but I think it's a big pivotal point, and it's like, the Book of Boba Fett didn't do well with the fans. I didn't care. I'm like, it's great. It's a story. People wanted to see fighting and killing, and it's Boba Fett and bounty hunting and whatever. I'm like, I guess that made sense, but it was cool to see his story, and I guess that's why it got a really thumbs down from the fans. But Mandalorian, they really nailed it with this one. I mean, Mandalorian, Rogue One, and Episode 4, 5, and 6 for me are my favorite Star Wars to date. Rebels was good too, but I mean, it's animation versus real life. You can't compare, in my opinion. So for me, it's 5 stars all the way.
So far, 5 stars. Holy crap!
Yeah,
All right, Josh, what you got?
Okay. Overall, yeah, no, I liked it. That was cool. Yeah. Okay, Wazim.
I want to mention what Anana's Banana said. And again,
Okay.
this is going to highlight
Yes.
her taste in TV here. I honestly wasn't a fan of Pedro Pascal. He is very monotone, probably because I'm biased and I know him from The Last of Us.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
two.
to be fair,
He's a
It's two different
Mandalorian.
roles.
yeah, like like all the
Well,
Mandalorians are pretty much monotone, so it kind of fits. Like they have
If
this like
okay, I'll tell you what. If I can add a little spice and pepper here, what I'll say is Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian is a better Joel than Joel's Pedro Pascal is. Like
no, I absolutely agree with that.
so, but anyways,
Oh,
so Josh, to
but
you,
it's because
please.
I absolutely
he doesn't
agree
have
with
the
that.
he doesn't take the
No.
mask off. You have no clue that it's Pedro Pascal unless you see the credits and his name appearing there next to Mandalorian.
Still,
Take it away,
you get
Josh.
so
Let's
much
hear it.
more expression from a guy in a helmet than you did in The Last of Us.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and even that stupid relationship is like, oh, Joel and Ellie, they're father and like, ugh. I get more of the father and son thing with these guys in Star Wars.
Yep,
Whatever.
I agree. But yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
No, and that's it. And Grogu deciding to find Mando and not do his training with Luke.
Mm.
I mean, it kind of follows the story a bit, but like,
How's the story a bit?
well, I mean, like he finds Luke at that point because at that point Luke is Jedi Master on Dagobah or wherever he is, and it's not Dagobah, sorry. And he decides not to, and it's Ahsoka, which is amazing. On top of that, and sorry, and those of you who don't know, like Ahsoka again, that's coming from Rebels, and she was trained by Anakin, which is a great so such a good twist. There's so many like levels to the Mandalorian that it's becoming
well,
it's the main story,
yeah,
and everything's gonna offshoot from that.
it's
It has to
it's weaving itself into like the original trilogy. I find
exactly,
perfect.
and it's like that. That's the story. That's what we're following after the movies. That's what we're following, and the Mando. It has to be.
Oh, I like it way better than the movies, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just this one show, I like it so much more than the movies. Because again, yeah, like I find the pacing actually pretty good. Because it gives you more of the feel that you're actually in whatever situation they're in, instead of like how most movies or shows do it. Like, oh, everything is so fast paced. Like they're at the bottom of the building, and then all of a sudden they're at the top chasing the helicopter, or they're in like a farmland, and then all of a sudden they're in a volcano place with a bunch of dragons and shit. Like everything has such a fast pace to it, so it's very refreshing to me that they slowed it down, and you could actually see the relationship between Grogu and the Mandalorian, or you could actually feel what the quest feels like just to get to a location. Like you see them in shots just sitting in ships. They're just sitting in shots, just chilling, sitting on a bed. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna make my bed." Grogu, stop it! It's cool to see the relationship and everything grow in the times that you're not even doing anything. So I thought that.
I want to
Yeah.
add.
Hello, Ellie of the Sun.
I don't want to take away from that, but again,
No, please go.
I was the third episode too. At one point, they're like, "Oh, they're seeing Coruscant and whatnot." And I remember my wife asking me like, "Okay, well, what's so special about this place?" And I'm like, "Well, this is where like, it's not the center of the universe, but they even mention it in the episode. They're saying even though this is the center of the galaxy, we're not actually the center of the galaxy, but Coruscant's where everything takes place. You have your aristocrats, you have your high people, you have your scientists, you have your everything is formulating on Coruscant right now. It's such an energy, a magnetic planet for the Star Wars universe." And at first I was like, okay, yeah, they brought back the doctor. What's his role? Okay, he was doing cloning. All right, he says that speech. It's kind of awkward. He's playing to the crowd, and it's like, what's all this about? And then you realize it's a rehabilitation program for people of the Empire. And I'm like, what? Like, they actually took the time and wrote in an episode to be like, well, what happened to all those people in the Empire who realized, oh, we have no jobs anymore? We were literally on the wrong side. They're literally taking the argument of like stormtroopers are people too. And there was a lot of people on the Death Star that died, who dying for something that they believed in, or they didn't believe in, or they thought was
explain that during the movie.
the Empire is the government. So why don't you just follow? Okay, yeah, we're kind of dicks about it sometimes, but like these are people with families and whatnot. So now you have a rehabilitation program that's happening. And these people are being like, come back and like, we're doing it, and they're doing it properly. only now with this girl, whatever. Obviously, she's still in the background and blah 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 blah. And she wants to know about the cloning
And
she starts with the mind flare that they call it.
They've authorized lobotomies, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember,
Whoa, but it's low level. It's a low
No,
level
yeah,
intensity, and
I
it's
know, I know.
fine.
It's all lobotomy.
he
We're
was
helping
smiling,
them
and that's what I
learn.
liked about it. Remember, he was smiling. They're like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're gonna go. And she obviously turned them in, and blah 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 blah. And they all get this like, it's kind of like a cleanse, right? Because if you see him, he's there and he's actually smiling, so you know that it's kind of like a high. They're giving him like a get rid of your stress. Don't worry about it. It's like they're not telling So I mean, again, I'm not. Who cares? It's science fiction at this point. It's not like, well, I don't approve of them doing that. It's like, who cares? That's what the story is. You just go with it. It's Star Wars. It's almost over. There's no point of getting upset. And then, but you see his face, and he's smiling until she cranks the knob, and he's like in pain. So it's like they're actually doing it. They're actually saying, no. Like, we're gonna give you a light little buzz. You're just, you're stressed. You don't know where you are. Like, your life has just been cut. And let's come on. Let's be good about this.
I just want to add, Ali of the Sun says that I love the cute paintball fight. It's like Grogu finally moves on and to go next level. Paintball fight. But hey, I'm happy she's watching it. You said that you weren't sure if she would be interested, but apparently she is. Well done.
Oh, that's the fourth episode. I was like, there was no paintball fight in the first 3 episodes.
Oh right, you guys didn't see that. Whoops, my bad. Okay,
thanks.
You'll see it. The paintball fight.
All right,
Josh,
so
yeah.
to get to my quick review, thank you, Joe, for your political rant about lobotomies, son of a bitch.
I was helping you out, brother, because you normally don't agree.
I'm on episode 1 still. All right, so I'll quit. I'll be quick then. It was neat to see whatever. Like, it was cool. Like, to me, it was like watching a quest happen, right? So he went over to that one town. He met up with Carl Weathers. They did the little Arnold handshake, show off their muscles a little bit. They fought off some pirates. The pirate got upset. He was like, "Damn you, Jack!" And then they continued on. He started talking about how he needed to dive into lakes of Minnetonka to relieve himself and shit. He saw the people. He went over to his homeland. He found out it wasn't toxic. He fought some fucking orc thingies. He fought some mecha eyeball guy. I'm going quick so Joe doesn't interrupt me again. So it was just neat to see. Like, I thought the flow of everything was cool. I liked to see like what they had to do to like what they had to encounter to dive into the waters and all that crap. Like, it was just neat to see good old Mando doing his good old quests, just like in the first season, but with Grogu. You know what I mean? Like, it was. I don't know. I like the pacing. I just like the fact that he had stuff to do. It wasn't some big convoluted thing with deep story and you had to pay attention. Like, it was cool. Like, I don't watch Star Wars to pay attention. So every time I hear a bunch of planets, I immediately forget. Like, I'm still unsure what Tatooine is, to be fairly honest with you. So, but it's neat to, I don't know, to me, as a non-Star Wars fan who happens to like it from time to time, I thought it was refreshing to just sit back and watch people do shit.
Like, set themselves out to do something and then accomplish it.
Yeah, they had a simple thing. He needed to bathe in some water, and he literally did like 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks on the way to do it. And then when he went into the lake, I honestly thought, like, not the lake, but when he went to the water or the whatever it is, I honestly thought he got pulled down because he just whoop. Yeah. But it turns out he fell, and I'm like, no, that makes sense. He doesn't have his jetpack, and he's wearing fucking metal. Yeah. So, yeah. But then I thought it was also cool, like, on the way up, they see that, the Scourge album? No, Scum. The Scum emblem.
Yeah.
You know, how like in X-Wing, you had the Scum, and you had the Imperials, and you had the Rebels, you know, the little skull face. I'm looking right at you, Joe. You know, Scum.
Yeah.
IG-88.
I hated that guy.
IG-88.
Yeah. But it was cool to see that creature. It gave me like vibes of that other movie. I forgot what it was, but it was like where the character dives down to help a girl in the ocean, and then it turns out like there's this big monster ass thing staring at them. If that makes any sense to any of you.
Movie?
Anaconda?
Yeah, there's an animated movie about it. Hold on.
Lady in the Water?
Was it?
Finding Nemo.
Or Beast in the Water or something? It was more recent.
No,
but
that was Shark Tales, bro.
Oh, by the way,
Shark Tales.
Ali says that how she's disappointed you didn't mention the tiny robot fixers and how Grogu hugs them. How could you
Yes,
skip that?
I screenshot that and sent it to Say. I was bothering her while I was watching it. They're like little thingies. They're like little chihuahuas fixing stuff. And they're like, I can fix this. Da, da. And then Grogu comes over and starts bear hugging his ass. It was great. It's fantastic. I don't know. I had a really good time
Cute
watching
stuff
it.
is good. I mean, cute stuff's good. It's like, okay, yeah, that's it's
Yeah.
But it's so good. And it's like,
Overall-
let's get to the Star Wars. And that was my biggest rant. I'm like, look at this.
Huh?
There's a war happening in the stars. It's Star
Well,
Wars.
To be fair, that war ended, right? Like Vader died, the Emperor died, everything
No,
was
but I'm talking
going
about
to
the
going to
little encounters
Republic.
with Mando and everyone else, right? Like they're always running away or doing something, or he has to encounter somebody, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to capture this guy." It's like Mando's really good. He was good in the oh my god, now the name of his ship just eludes me.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The Crest or something like that.
Yeah, the Razor Crest. Thank you.
That's it.
He was good in that hunk of junk, right? That little fat little thing with two little, and it's running and it's shooting, and he's really good maneuvering that thing. Now he's in a super high speeder Naboo starfighter that was rated to defend off a planet, and now it's supercharged. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but like this thing is freaking cool, and we get to see all the lights and the gadgets on the inside. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. And it's like it's perfect. I'm like I'm a kid again. And I'm like yes, this is again. I haven't never left it. I'm like yeah, shoot them. And just like doing maneuvers and like I'm gonna hide behind this asteroid and I'm like oh.
Yo, that was sick. That immediately made me think of X-Wing too, with like the directional things,
What?
the movement piece in X-Wing. Remember the X-Wing tabletop thing where you had like the little U-turns,
Like
turns.
dog fighting.
I'm like, this motherfucker hid behind an asteroid.
He did that red maneuver where he banks right and then immediately does like a 180.
Yeah. Like it was cool seeing that happen. I'm like, oh, this reminds me of X-Wing. This is neat. Just seeing him taking out a bunch of people, and then the pirates show up, and then he just goes, oh, okay, well, peace. This is great.
We got an episode where we all play X-Wing.
I thought episode 3 was actually pretty cool too. When they had like a brief intermission from Mando and his stuff to go deal with those good old Star Wars and the politics and the lobotomies and the doctors and everything, Joe. Yeah, that was a cool break. I enjoyed that. Isn't it?
Maybe sarcastic
cool.
or
Half sarcastic,
Okay.
half sarcastic. It was actually a pretty cool break, actually, I thought, because like they dove into like how technically they overthrew one tyrannical.
yeah,
I'm really
Yeah,
bad.
tyrannical. Yeah.
Yeah, so the one tyrannical government for another that just kind of seems like, hey, we're here for you, but you're not allowed to do shit. You do what we say. Lobotomies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just trading one scummy government for another scummy government, and like I thought the backstory or the moral of the story thing was more like, hey, guess who's taking away your individuality? I know you're trying to do the good thing, but remember the nuclear bomb? You know, like when scientists were originally trying to provide power and everything, and then they were like, we could also blow some shit up. It's always like the case of like someone who wants to do good gets overtaken by people who want to do bad. And that was kind of what happened with the clones, where he was saying he could like make clones of people and organs and everything and help people who needed like replacement organs and stuff. But effectively in the other movies, they just cloned a bounty hunter and made an entire army, aka stormtroopers, and then overthrew a bunch of people. So it was kind of like a nice little touch about like how scummy people could be for greed versus how people try to do breakthrough things for like the good of everybody else. And then like the moral dilemmas of should we pursue this or not, even though technically the government is saying we shouldn't, but I know that I could do something good for everybody. So it's like, do we want to listen to them or do we want to do what we think is actually right? So it's like a good little break from questing to go into like a little morale thing. And it turns out maybe he shouldn't have trusted the bitch, but
Well, and that's the irony of it, right? Think about it. He got swayed twice by the same people. If she's still with the Empire, right? I mean, obviously she's with the Empire or whatever. I mean, we see her on the ship and whatnot. So the Empire is like, hey, we need your work to do good, but in the end we use it for evil. And now she's like, don't give up your work because you can do good, and then the good guys will see it. So don't trust in what they've been trying to do.
trust me.
Meanwhile, she's imperial, and he got conned again, and it was like, okay.
I felt bad for that guy actually, because like he generally was trying to do good things, and then she just went, "Hey, guess what?"
Just to keep up with
Like,
the
I
chat,
just-
Ali's saying that her friend says that Jesus will come, but he meant Jedi. So apparently Jedi's might show up at some point. To me, Grogu's already a Jedi in training.
Oh,
Ananas
he's
Bananas
just-
says that Star Wars is surprisingly cute, and she's not sure how she feels about that. To be fair, that's definitely a topic of conversation about the cuteness.
just enjoy the cuteness because there's a lot of dorkiness, and I don't really mean it a
What
great
are we
way.
eating
but
today,
is
Danny?
that the delivery of cookies?
Oh yeah, right here.
Planned it.
Jesus.
Danny planned this. He tells Christina.
So Wazim, you have to do this time. You have to do this thing. You have to do this intermission thing where it's just Dan eating food. It'd be like Dan's chow time, and have
Okay,
like,
you see,
graphic.
this is proof.
Christina's
Okay,
watching. Christina's watching, and Dan signals this because he did it last time. He was like, he yawns. He yawns. He goes, oh. So Christina's watching the chat, and she's like, he's hungry.
I shall bring him
his,
this.
her reaction is his mouth is open. His mouth is open. It's like,
He's not yawning. He's hungry. Let's go.
okay, no, but you know what? You know what?
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna put this out there. I'm gonna say it. This is proof that you guys don't watch the edits because last edit with the ice cream, something beautiful happened. Anyways,
I guess I'm gonna have to watch
and
it.
it lasted a good 7 minutes. So,
Ooh, I'm gonna definitely watch that. I want to know what that is.
yes, Ananas Bananas. He's eating again. There you go. Oh God. All right. Sorry. Josh, was that what you had for the episode? Sorry, for the so far 1 to 3.
I also thought that Grogu's flashback was pretty boss, where you actually see Jedi's and the Jedi with the two. Wait, is that
Yeah,
episode 3?
Don't mention that.
So Luke comes back.
So Luke comes back.
All right.
Give me back my Grogu. It's my Yoda.
So, all right. So for me, I'm in love with it. I'm really enjoying it. I actually can't wait to watch the next episode. When we were doing The Last of Us, I was like, okay, it's coming out. Now I'm actually like, okay, Wednesday, let's go. You know?
No, honestly, I agree with that sentiment because if I could binge this shit, I would.
Same. Same.
Yeah,
And
if I
the
could have binged
reason
it by now, I would have.
the reason I can binge it is because of the pacing. The pacing
Yes.
is on point. It's so good. Like you said, they set out to do something and they accomplish it, and then they move on to the next task, and I love it. Like episode 2 to me was a perfect example of it because they set up a situation where in other TV shows it would play out a different way. You know, he sets out to go find Mandalore to bathe in the water, gets caught, tells Grogu, "Dip, go find Bo-Katan." And then he goes, finds Bo-Katan, and I'm like, okay, we're getting a Bo-Katan episode. It's going to be her for the rest of the episode. 5 minutes later, she finds him and saves him. I was like, let's go. Mando's back in the picture. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, the pacing is just on point. I love it. And
It feels realistic.
it doesn't feel rushed, you know?
I love it.
And like, there's no...
The only thing I would add is what Josh had mentioned before was that I thought he jumped in. I didn't realize that he got sucked or he got pulled by a monster.
Yeah, I thought he got pulled,
Right?
but he didn't. He just
Yeah.
fell.
Because that's the feel of Star Wars, right? It's the age old when they're stuck in the trash compactor where they're just like, what's that? And then they just pull down. Like
Yeah.
they didn't make a noise. Be like, oh, there's not a step. You know, like
You're talking about when he goes to bathe in the water, the Lake of the Living.
that's
or
it.
whatever?
Like he's walking out. It's like
Right,
he has
from
the
that.
helmet on. He has scanners. He knows that there's depths. It's kind of weird that he wouldn't know that, right? Like
Mhm.
they're flying around. They have altitude and whatever like information. If they don't, then it's kind of weird that I'm completely lost. But I mean, you would hope you have a jetpack on your back that you have information. Like, telling you what's going on, you know, like
I didn't think about that, but if I had to go in my like theory mode, I would bank that on the fact that when he was arriving to the planet, he said the atomic blast messed up all electronic equipment in this area. You can't communicate with anybody in and out.
Are you talking about when he went in the water? Why he couldn't jet back up?
No,
No, I'm talking
why he couldn't scan the
it
area?
wasn't deep. He didn't scan.
Okay, my bad. Okay, good. Because like I was like, you just.
And that-
turned it off.
I'm like, je cherche loin in French. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really looking for a problem. And like, and Josh had mentioned, I said, oh yeah, I remember saying, what just happened? Did he get pulled in by a monster or more action? Okay, great. And then no, he's just falling, and it's like, well, that's weird. I'm like, okay.
So
Fuck.
So I really think the pacing is what's nailing it for me. I love it, and it's making me want to watch more. And every time an episode ends, I'm like, I want to know. You know, I like it. I love it. And you guys haven't seen it, but at the end of episode 4, I want to know. You know, so so love the
I'm gonna watch
pacing.
Is that okay?
Go right ahead. Who the
No,
fuck, man? I'm so sick of this. You know what?
Sick of this boy.
Next thing that I like, and this is something that goes from season 1 and 2 also, but I'll just mention it because we might not talk about it. But holy crap, production value! Oh my god,
production
this show looks
value.
good.
I was wondering if you
it
mentioned
does
that.
look nice.
It looks
looks so
amazing.
First off, it looked really, really lively.
I mean, if
And there was a
Marvel,
lot.
if Marvel
Oh, go
looks
ahead,
like
go ahead.
dog shit, it's because all their money's being thrown into the show for CG. Seriously,
I think it's because they're trying to save the Star Wars franchise at this point. They're like, yeah,
Sure.
Marvel's kind of set, even though we're screwing it up. But let's save Star Wars now.
but it's just like
Star Wars has so much money though.
like all the action set pieces, the locations, like Mando's armor just looks so damn good, man. It's like
Well, do you know how they do a lot of their scenes?
I think it's blue screen or
Yeah, essentially they completely have a screen around them and they project the entire
right.
set around that whole screen.
Yeah, I remember in
and
season
then they work
1,
around that.
Yeah, in season 1 they talked about that it was a new way of filming like on-site locations that are not on-site. That kind
Yeah,
of
because
stuff.
they can actually play around with the shadows and actually make stuff look completely legit, like you're actually in that environment.
So
That saves a lot of money without having to go to Ireland for your woodland scenes or go to Arizona for your desert scenes.
mhm.
Yeah, no kidding. They don't have to transport all the equipment plus all the guys and everything out over there.
Remember
Unlike
the
the
scene
last
when
of
they
us.
finally they arrive to Bo-Katan and you see her place, but it's like surrounded by water, just with like the island and
Yeah,
nothing.
castle hanging off a cliff. It's like,
It's fantastic shots.
yeah,
Uh,
amazing shots. Cinematography is good. Honestly, cinematography is good. The angles from which the action happens and from where scenes are shot, they look really good. And it sucks I can't talk about it because one of the cinematography moments that's not action is from episode 4 that just really kept you in the moment. And I was like, wow, that was well shot. I understand what's happening here, and the message is conveyed beautifully. Anyways, cinematography top
Even
notch.
the end, but even the end, just the
Yes.
recap that it's such a short episode, but there's a recap at the end with the credits
Yep.
and the music and the dun 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 dun. It's like a western. They did it such
Yeah.
like a western. It's so good.
Yeah.
And the I want to say murals. It's not murals. It's the the art, the animated
Yeah.
yeah, the still frames, the
sketches,
shots.
what's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
The drawings.
design. It's just
Yeah.
that even that's well done. And, like I want to watch the end just to see like which sections are they giving to you. Oh yeah, I remember that scene. Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that scene. Like I just watched it 20 minutes ago, but yeah, look at that scene. It's like it's really well done. It's really well sketched. Yeah, that's the word.
It just to me it shows like whoever, well, it's Jon Favreau who's creating this with I forgot the other guy's name, but yeah, you could see that they're pouring their hearts into this because it really shows. They really
I think it's the guy who did what's it the Clone Wars cartoon series or Rebels?
okay.
Oh, Bad Batch.
No, I think it's Bad Batch. It's either Clone Wars or Rebels.
Okay.
I don't remember which one, but I know it's that
So
guy.
that would
who
explain why
basically
he's
comes on.
bringing in these characters like Bo-Katan and Ahsoka and all this stuff in the show.
Well, it's all from Rebels.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it is
Which I haven't seen. I haven't seen Rebels. So, like,
It's kind of important. Rebels was basically like where the Mandalorian, I would say, is thinking about it now, the evolution of Rebels. Rebels was really Saturday morning cartoons, short episodes, a lesson. Excuse me, guys, with my cold.
mhm.
A lesson and everything. Anakin Skywalker is teaching Ahsoka, his Padawan, don't forget, trust in your this and do this and blah blah blah. The lesson of the day is this, and it's like, okay, fine, but there's so much happening. There's so many ships that get introduced, so many characters that get introduced, and Mandalorian is that business model. I want to say business model, but that story model and built like done way better for live TV, and they nailed it.
Mhm.
I think.
And so the other thing I liked about the show a lot is Danny touched on this, and it's how I feel like in this season they're really exploring the lore and the mythos of the Mandalore and their cult and how they do things, and the meaning behind this is the way and that kind of stuff. And to me personally, I'm starting to like it more than the Jedi's. I really am. I really like their creed. I really like what they go after. And I just feel like the movies they give you tidbits of Jedi knowledge and how they operate and how they function, and you get to see some Padawans go through a training and that kind of stuff. But Mandalorian there's actually scenes dedicated to, like, it's a full on expose of why we do things, and I appreciate it. I like that. I like digging into their culture and learning it a little bit. So a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but like right now, from where I stand after watching all the episodes I just watched, I'm big fan of the Mandalorians versus the Jedi's. Not saying they'll win the fight, but I'm just saying a big fan of their creed.
They'll win the fight.
big fan of that creed.
Well, I mean, considering both. Was that so Ahsoka's supposed to have her own spin-off at one point or another. I don't know what's going on with it, but I know there's supposed to be that spin-off. I'm not sure what else is supposed to is in the works. But yeah, that's the last thing. Yeah, even most even though the books aren't part of the actual lore anymore, or part of it's like the whole Legend series. They did have there was a lot of Jedi stuff, but there was also a lot of other stuff that happened on the sidelines as well. Like you have stories with like the Wookiees and Chewbacca, what happened with him, and what happened with Boba Fett, how he escaped the Sarlacc pit, and what he did afterwards. And you have a lot of other stories that played around to it. So it's nice to kind of see that they're not just focusing entirely on the Jedi story and everything about Jedi. It's not that I don't want to see stuff about Jedis. I'd like to see more. Considering all we have is the movies, and then Obi-Wan and
the video games. That's it.
You know what? Like for this show in particular, I disagree. Keep it Mando.
What?
Keep it Mandalorian. I don't want to see more about the
No.
Jedi's right
I'm not talking about like the like bringing Jedis into Mandalorian and then just put them on the side. I'm talking about like having other stories outside of like Mandalorian. Like, hey, let's we're doing something with Ahsoka Tano. That's neat. A lot of people have been wondering for the longest time what's happened to her, and they've been bringing her back into little scenes here and there. Like even though she was in season 2, I don't know about Book of Boba Fett, but I know even though she was in there for season 2, people wanted more because they have no clue what happened to her at the. Well, I don't remember what cartoon it was. So it was either Rebels or was the one after that. So it was Rebels. It's all Rebels. That's where basically she was last kind of seen. No.
Unless they continued it after, and I didn't watch anything after Rebels. I don't even know what there is after Rebels. I think it is the Bad Batch. I'm not. We're just relatively new. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But Rebels, I just started watching Rebels on purpose because there was so many ships coming out for X-wing miniatures that I didn't like flying ships that I don't know anything about. So I'm like, I have. And my brother was like, "You have to watch Rebels. You have to watch Rebels." So I started watching it, and I'm like, I know that ship. I can fly it now. I have respect for it.
Good.
Like the Inquisitor and all that stuff, and then the Defender came out, and then the Dauntless. It was just Dauntless is the name of the type of ship, but the Decimator, like all this stuff was like, okay.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up real quick, what I wanted to highlight my overall thoughts. Episode 3. I kind of disagree with what Josh said earlier about well, actually in general how it's presented as this side, you replace one evil with the lesser evil. It's the same evil, it's disguised as something that's proper, To me, I think it was more of a disguise of the entire episode. And to me, episode 3 really highlights proper writing for a show. Really good writing. Because, yes, I knew that the Imperial chick was a bad guy.
Easily.
But you saw it in the preview at the start of the episode, and so you knew that her objective was to go out there and mess with the person. But I honestly bought the way that she manipulated the guy, with the genuine laughter and the banter and the back and forth and that kind of stuff. Not for you.
I was almost
convinced
her the entire time. The entire time, like she seemed, I don't know. Maybe I've seen it a little too much in life or something. But like, nah, I could spot when somebody's trying to pretend to be nice to you.
The way the show,
I get it. What?
The way the show is filmed, obviously, they just linger on her too long. For like after she smiles, you see the smile wipes away.
No. I know that, but I mean, like, even with some mannerisms or something, usually when you want to get to know a specific target, for example, when they when they were around other people who used to be Imperials and all that stuff, notice how most of the time her focus was on him instead of the other people she was with all the time. Normally, if you were actually having a conversation, your focus wouldn't be on the new person, it'd be on the other people you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an objective, you're going to stare at your objective whether you realize it or not.
Right.
So, like, it was interesting to me, like, yeah, she was, like, overly nice, overly eager, in my opinion, at least.
She
like,
was.
yeah. Like, I used to like these cookies. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you remember those times that these are the great times in the Imperials and stuff? Like, she seemed to, like, go on his good-hearted nature and his nostalgia and the things he liked. Like, she was the one egging him on what you used to like and everything,
Yeah.
no? Yeah. So, like, what better way to really manipulate someone than to genuinely pretend like you actually are interested in them?
Yeah. So
like,
I feel like the way that that character got manipulated was the same way how as a viewer we got manipulated, because I had the same thought, in a sense, like how, oh yeah, these, I mean, the Republic maybe ain't so great after all. You know what I mean? But then when you step back and you think about it, you know, okay, let's take the age-old example, WW2 bad guys. I mean, if you were to take them, okay, like some SS soldiers, and you were to put them into a what do you call it? What do they call it in the show? Anyways, one of those rehabilitation camps or whatever, or rehabilitation centers. You wouldn't give them the freedom to do whatever they want.
no.
You wouldn't. So to me,
Not-
that's not a restriction of people's rights. That's not a show of evil. But the show portrays it as a show of evil because that's how our character portrays it. It's not necessarily. So you see, that's how the character's manipulated by her words and what he says. And I think in a way manipulated the viewers also. So
Oh, yeah.
to me, I thought that was terrific writing. I thought it was well done.
Agreed.
So
I like I like the little interactions when he was talking to the droid, like, about, like, whether or not how his mental health basically was, right?
and they kept going
And,
back
like,
to it.
yeah, like, you kept going back to it, and every time he was talking to her, I already forgot her name, to be fair, but every time he was talking to her and then it went to that droid, you notice, like, there were subtle changes, like, the things that she was saying was starting to affect him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, they're keeping it. Notice how, like, yeah, you're doing everything for the good, but isn't it weird that you can't seem to do this specific thing?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird how they like when someone would whisper in their ear, like, hey, isn't it weird that you can't do this? It's not an overall great government, is it? You know, like, you're planting seeds of doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
subtle
is
seeds.
is what they do. The Imperial. That's how they recruit.
Yeah.
That's how they.
Yeah.
So
They even kind of mentioned that too. Like, Pseudo mentioned that.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like in passing, like a passive mention.
But you see how that manipulation worked on that character. Like if and I'm not passing any judgment on. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, but it worked on you too. Like
Oh,
you,
absolutely.
Like you said, you said
I
you said
suspected her the entire time, but yeah.
no. You knew she was bad, but her manipulation worked on you because you said it.
Oh, it was great.
The Republic is also bad.
Sorry, I look at something.
No,
Yeah.
it's okay. So it also worked on the viewer. That's what I'm saying. To me, that's
Oh no,
that's terrific writing.
1,000% get it. I agree with that. Yeah. It was like, you get like, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, that's it. Episode 4, we'll talk about it next time. Which to me was one of the best episodes. One of the better episodes. It was the one I enjoyed the most.
Hold on. Next week, does that mean that next week we'll have 2? We'll have this episode 4 and 5? Like, when's it going to come out?
It's gonna come out on Wednesday early in the day. So we have 2 choices here. We can either change the day we do these reviews, or we keep them on Wednesdays and we make sure we watch the episode before we do this.
Yeah.
So I actually do have a couple of questions, and they're related around Star Wars lore. And,
Okay.
I don't want to take too much more time. But I'm not gonna lie. These are like TMZ questions. You know what I mean? Like they're bait questions. They're gossip questions. That kind of crap. You know?
Well, I'm not going to be mad if you edit out that whole section about R5. It's fine. I really love it.
There's something else I wanted to say about R5, but I'll say it after the show, after we're done.
So what I wanted to know from you guys were, and this is a open discussion. I'm not gonna make anyone pick in turns here. Whoever knows about this, just go ahead and talk about it. But my understanding is that there are rumors floating out there that, like Danny said, Disney and LucasArts are trying to save Star Wars right now. They think it's in a bad place, and they think that they need to win back the fandom. So they've been canceling some projects and rethinking the way they want to approach things. And one of the things that I noticed, and I picked up on this because of other YouTubers that I watch, and I noticed it myself when I saw it, if you were to watch the intro to the Star Wars shows, the intros have changed over time. So, you see like the mask of Vader, you see the mask of a stormtrooper, and all this kind of stuff. Watch season 1 and 2 of Mando, watch Book of Boba Fett and all those things, and you'll see all the masks are there. And there's some things that came to light where some people are leaving Disney now, and some people that were in charge of how things are going to be ran at LucasArts and that kind of stuff. And when you look at the intro now, every mask that comes from the sequel trilogy, Kylo Ren, all that stuff, gone.
Oh, really?
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Take a look at the intro next time. You'll know.
That makes sense.
You know, I was
that?
wondering.
Did it make sense in the first season of Mando?
Well, no, it's for me because I noticed that. I noticed that when they were, I thought it was just always the same. R2D2 and Kylo and blah 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 blah. The blue and red lights and the way they do the spinning thing. And but if you look, excuse me, I thought that there was always a specific change because at one point you see C-3PO as well. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a kind of like an Easter egg, and if you actually watch the intro, you'll notice the changing. And now in the Mandalorian, you see mostly Mandalorian. I'd have to go back and look at it again, but normally you're hitting skip intro anyway, and it's like for the 3 seconds. I always, whenever I haven't seen it in a while, it's like, okay, just watch it. It's a pretty cool intro, anyways. I noticed it was they had changed it. Obviously, the Mandalorian head is there, and a couple other things. So I'm like, it makes sense to adapt that to the series. I don't think that's a like, because the actual intro itself with the spinning lights and the light and whatever, it's a cool intro, and that's a great way to do it. You just show the heads of the different characters of all the universe. I don't think that's
so you're saying you don't think there's any type of anything going on in the background that in season 1 we had the sequel trilogy characters in there, and then in this season after some kerfuffles happened at Disney, and the CEO changed and all that crap, all of a sudden it's all gone, and they canceled a bunch of projects. You don't think it means anything that it's going in a direction?
If that was the catalyst to saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with these projects, and if actually those heads that are missing versus the heads that are replaced have to do with what happened there, I think it was something that had to be done anyways, because the fans are always going to hit skip because they see it. Now that I know, and I thought they were doing this from before anyways, because I could have sworn that not every episode was the same. It forces me to watch it. It's just a cute little Easter egg for the 30 seconds that it's on or 10 seconds that it's on to be like, which heads can I recognize?
Who's that?
It's just a small mini. And if they weren't going to do that, it was going to get boring really quick. So I think it's just a good direction. Is it correlated? That's just, for me, that's just gossip. I don't think that has anything to do with it. And if it does, then it's like, well, you didn't change the intro anyway. You just changed the heads. And it's not like you put human faces of people we don't know. It's still part of the universe. So
okay.
Oh yeah, but I don't think I
don't think your concern is warranted. Sorry, Danny.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say I feel like they're trying to go with the whole plan of slowly trying to transition out the latest trilogy. Because I mean, it's left a lot of sour basically a lot of sour taste in everybody's mouth. That, and then I feel like Han Solo is still a little bit poorly judged. Like, it wasn't entirely the greatest movie, but I think because it came right hot off the heels of The Last Jedi, that's why it has such a bad rap, because everyone was like, "Ooh, Last Jedi was kind of poo. Let's see if Han Solo could save it." Oh no, you're kind of garbage too.
Now,
and like it. I don't know. I feel like they're if they are like why would they have bothered in changing it other than like trying to keep it, I guess, lore accurate, considering like Kylo Ren and whatnot wasn't there at that time.
No, but like Joe said, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just it's like the joke Josh made. Like, who's that Pokemon? Who cares? It's for fun.
Yeah.
It's to celebrate the universe.
I found it was more oriented towards the Mandalorian characters, and I didn't think anything of it at that point. I mean, maybe they are, and maybe they're like, okay, let's do it in this episode and make it very abrupt, make it very obvious, versus just switching one out for the other, or excuse me, rearranging the sequences. Now, I heard down the pipeline. I don't know if this was your next question, Wazim, but I heard down the pipeline that they're going to reboot the original movies.
That is my next question.
Oh, they are.
I'm so smart.
Oh, I'm too
And
predictable.
my answer to that is I hope they do. I really hope they do.
I don't
But
know.
they better not F it up, because there's so much.
Right now, they're gonna have to like start pumping out some like besides
Listen.
Mando, they're gonna have to start pumping out some good content all around in order to like make me want to believe.
Yeah, Mando's going in the right direction. Rogue One was the right direction. Episode 1, 2, and 3 was the, George Lucas had to have his way. Fine, but no. Then, because if you look back at them, even episode 1, 2, and 3, compared to the originals, it was good. His vision was there. He's getting, the CG. They could do so much. Obviously, Jar Jar Binks and all that stupidity was just like, you're using what was good in the 70s with better technology, and it just doesn't work. It didn't translate. We had C-3PO, the annoying, because if you go back and you watch him, C-3PO was super annoying, and it's like, shut up, it's not funny anymore. And it's like, people don't realize that. But at the time, it was funny, because it was like, oh my god, this is new, it's a droid. Now you're taking an alien and doing the same thing. It didn't work. Anyways, so 4, 5, and 6, and then you had 7, 8, 9 that were, the visual effects and everything, how they kept it in the 70s vibe of like the technology, and how they kept on doing that throughout the other movies, I think is great. If they can keep it like that, great. The acting, the scripting, whose fault is that? That's what it was. I mean, Kylo Ren, first scene, takes off his mask. He's a young kid. He should have some battle scars. I don't care about the actor. The actor, I think he did a good job in the voice and everything. When he came out, I'm like, whoa, this guy's badass. Excuse me. But he's got no proof. He's got no credibility. That was the first thing I think they did wrong with Kylo Ren. Takes off that mask, and dude, the movie theater laughed when I watched it. I was like, oh my god, everyone's laughing, and I'm like, I was disappointed too. I'm expecting to see like at least a half a burn, a scar across the face. Like, this guy's been through some shit, so he got through the evil. I want to be like my granddad. Why? Did you not follow the story? Like, did no one else tell you? Like, who raised you? This makes no sense.
Because his uncle tried to kill him.
You're just bad because you're bad. You killed your father because you just killed your father. You have no love. Leia flying through space. It's like, okay, she has the Force. Fine. We don't have to go through that. We all know there.
I remember. I saw the second one. I forgot the name of it now. Of the sequel trilogy. That moment where Leia fucking like Superman's through space. My theater laughed. My theater laughed. They couldn't fucking believe it.
So all that on top of the original, and what makes 4, 5, and 6 great. Okay, the story was okay. It was the effects at the time. That's what we love. That's the lore that we love, and people start building and building. But now you've got that. You've got these early CG kind of meshed in and then remade and unmade, and then the fans being no, blah, blah, blah. So we have different versions. I have the special effects version of the widescreen, and where there's no CG added whatsoever. It's just the originals on DVD, because George Lucas didn't want to release them, and then he finally released it as, you had to get it as a special edition. So you had to buy the original, and as a bonus, they were giving you the uncut original reprinted DVD. That's how much he hated it. So that's how much the fans, he didn't care about the fans. He would not re-release the originals in just a regular DVD form, THX, whatever. So you have that, and then the new ones all blended together. You try to show your children, you got to watch these first, and let's watch them in order, and it's just, nothing makes sense. It's a semantic garbage. So yes, reboot it, and this is your last chance. And for the fans,
the reason why I'm saying that, and I want to put this up on screen right now, so if anybody's watching this, they can see it, and you guys can probably see it if you're watching the stream. The Ahsoka TV series. Did you guys see the promo art for it? This is where I need you guys to chime in, because you guys know the lore better than I do, and I was told something. I don't know if it's true. So this is the art for Ahsoka TV series. Oh, you guys.
Where did you post this?
It's all split up. It's on the stream. Sorry, but it's all split up in 4 pictures. But you get the gist of it, right?
Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
Well, so a lot of people are saying that
Can I say
what's symbolized is the veil of the Force. So basically, they're saying that this logo represents the veil of the Force or the Force of the Veil, and this is the official promo art for the Ashoka TV series. And my understanding is that but some people saying that art represents the Force of the Veil, and that the Force of the Veil is basically time travel in the Star Wars universe. True or false?
Oh,
I know there's some kind of form of time
I
travel
don't
in the
know. I
Marvel
really
series.
hope that's not true. Because then that's how like
It's a cop out.
it worked for X-Men.
It ruined the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It worked
Maybe it
for
ruined.
I went back in time and
Disney
brought
ruined
back.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not
I like. Don't get me wrong. I like that they're pushing. They're
Oops.
saying they're understanding that we're the possibility of multiple universes at once. Scientists are really like pushing the envelope with that, and like there's more and more proof and blah 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 blah, or there isn't proof depending on what side you're on and how you see things. But I like this multiple universe thing. Um, but like Marvel, you guys are saying, "Oh, Marvel's this, Marvel's that." I could care less about Marvel. I hate that they're putting their IP on everything. There's some movies that are really good. There's some movies that I could just not care. Like Doctor Strange, I could not,
That's
fall
fucking
asleep.
boring.
As far as Star Wars goes, I really hope that they don't use again the same story of let's go back in time and change the universe. Just start the story over. Nobody cares. Just start it over.
Just run around the world super fast and create a
You know,
flashback.
Star Wars Episode 1 by this guy. Doesn't matter. Just,
Do you mean you're hoping that they don't pull a what's it?
I don't want this
I guess the new
universe
start
connected.
doing the same start like what they did with Star Trek, where they brought in Chris Pine and then they got him to be the new Kirk, and then they redid the whole series from there.
Oh, the wormhole that was actually time travel, and Leonard Nimoy came back to talk to his younger self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? In Star Trek, it makes sense. In Star
Of
Trek, it
course.
makes sense because they've already touched on time traveling, and Voyager killed it to death with did it to death with time travel. I just hope that Star Wars doesn't do that. Just start.
But my question for people that are savvy of Star Wars, the Force of the Veil, is that actually what it is? Time travel.
I can't answer that. I'm not that much in deep with the community
The Veil of the Force or whatever. Okay. Because my understanding is that was going to be the vessel to reboot the series. How they're going to use Mando, Ashoka, Bo-Katan,
Well,
Rebels.
as far as what I know, there apparently that's also how what's his face, Palpatine was able to survive as well. He was kind of using that to get himself around. They touch on it in Rebels at one point.
Is she blow drying her hair again at 9:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that whole side of things. So it wouldn't surprise me. There's been a lot of talk with that ever since the last two movies had come out, because they would like for them to use that to basically erase the last three movies.
Mm-hmm. Now,
They should erase everything. They should erase everything. If they're just going to do the last three movies, I'm still not going to be interested. Well, maybe not. I shouldn't say that. Like,
if they do it right, it could be good.
One through three you can just ignore, and then 4, 5, and 6, and then continue from there. Maybe, but like, why not go full fledged? Why not actually make 1, 2, and 3 make sense? Metachlorians.
1, 2, 3 weren't. I mean, yeah. Besides the midichlorians thing, 1, 2, and 3 wasn't entirely that bad. It's just very slow and just way too much political talk.
It's very slow, a lot of political talk, but I really like seeing Anakin's story. I really enjoyed that. And people told me because of that. Well, no, I don't care about the sand, okay? But but like
but it gets everywhere.
I was told if I want to see a good Anakin story, people told me watch Rebels. Was it a Rebels or
Yeah, it makes sense. Like
Rebel and Clone Wars, basically.
Yeah, that was the Anakin we needed to see, not this whiny little bitch.
He was a teenager.
Like what? No, but still, like a teenager that was like that he was saved and rescued, and even the kid they chose and how they casted him, it was like, I don't know, it was too, like, he's a pod racer, okay, great, you know, he can fly, fine. It was too cute, but I guess they were really going for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I guess when you throw that in, I mean, like, originally George Lucas was making a film in the '70s for, wasn't for, I don't know, was it for children? It was just a sci-fi movie, and it's going to capture the audience between a certain age and a certain age. Now it's like, well, we have to do the kids because of marketing.
Mhm.
Kids like the original movies. Just keep it the same. Don't dumb it down.
But that's what they did.
Oh,
That's
fundraiser.
exactly.
Oh, mom. Blah, blah, blah. Huh, huh. Just make a real story.
That's exactly what they
People-
did with the episode 1, 2, 3 and the sequel trilogy. Dumped it down to kids, pumped out as much merch as they can, make as many cute toys as you can. That's all they did.
Mm.
I mean, George Lucas he knew he was on his way out. So I mean,
Yeah, but they were already into the whole toy thing, even from the first the original trilogy. They had a lot of toys that were being pumped up back then too.
Mhm.
yeah.
In fact, a lot of it was George Lucas wanted to capitalize on that market. It's just it didn't really pan out so well when what's it basically Return of the Jedi was where they were kind of making it kid friendly, and then they kind of just went all in on that with 1, 2, and 3.
But George Lucas didn't make much money until the later movies with toys because he didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. So when he made the toy contract with, it's in
Hasbro, I think.
yeah, it's in that Netflix series, the toys that made us.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where I was getting a bit of the
Yeah.
that info from too.
That was really good, and he didn't. And the only smart thing he did, I think, was when when they made Spaceballs, he told because what's his name,
Rick Moranis?
no, Mel Brooks went to
Oh.
went to Lucas and said, "Listen, I'm going to do this movie. I'm going to make a spoof about Star Wars. Like, you can be okay with it." He goes, I have no issue with your characters. He goes, you just can't make any merch. He goes, I'll give you all the IP rights. You can copy this, copy that. He goes, I don't care. He goes, you can't make any merch, and that's why.
I like how he made merch in the actual movie.
Yeah.
But that was the scene that he was not paying homage, but I guess like making a shtick about it to be like, well, how do you make all your money? He's like, what do you do here, yogurt? He goes, merchandising, and then we the toy. And as a kid watching this, you're like, oh wow, I can't wait to get my hands on merch. There's no Spaceballs merch. Couple things, but it's all.
I think everyone would have worn Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Oh my god! And Mel Brooks, yeah, this was the lunchbox, the doll. This, I mean, he would have made a killing. Mel Brooks would have made a fucking killing.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and it's stupid that Lucas didn't make a deal with him after saying, okay, you want to make merch, no problem, but I'm making 80% of it or 90% of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's stupid because that would have made so much money. You know, it was such a well done.
It's strange because when Mando came out, fantastic show, amazing story, everybody dug it. They forgot about merch. There was no Baby Yodas anywhere to be found. They forgot to fucking make one. It's like, is there a link?
Probably because I didn't think he was going to be that popular, but I guess he became super popular.
Man. So I'm going to be cutting the stream here.
Yeah.
So I look really forward to the next episode. And next Wednesday, guys, we'll do episode 4 and 5, right? Oh, and a lot of questions that you guys asked will be answered in episode 4 already.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, and I had a question lined up to know something about you guys and Bo-Katan, but I guess we'll wait till you watch the next episode because I have questions about her that I don't understand a certain character arc of hers.
She's somewhat attractive. Is that that's?
Yeah, she's got boob armor.
She's got boob armor.